Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I want to welcome you to another episode of the About You podcast. Today, I'm excited to have our sister, a friend here, Quita Roberts, to talk about love. We know this month is Love Month or Heart Month, whatever you want to call it. And so we want to talk about a few things about love. Where we're anticipating to be here for about an hour, if we go over a little bit, but about an hour just to talk about a few things about love, psychology of love, love and relationship, culture, things like that. So we ask you to grab some water, invite your friends, invite your loved ones, share the show, and enjoy. Quita, thank you for some time to be here. I know today is Sunday, and this is time we all take to rest and kind of regroup for the week. So I don't take this for granted to just for you to just be here. I'm delighted to have you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure being on your platform. I'm excited for us to
Yes.
discuss everything love today with Valentine's around the corner. And I'm just excited to be here. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, but for the people who don't know Mrs. Roberts, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am Quita Roberts. I'm a mom, a wife, a mother to five boys. I am a licensed therapist in the state of Maryland, a clinical
I am a
licensed
licensed feedback.
therapist in the state of Maryland. I have my own private practice where I provide counseling to families, singles, children, couples. I provide therapy to families in Maryland. So that is the work that I do. Basically, that's me.
Thank you. And I know you do some nonprofit work too. Can you tell us more about that?
Of course. So I nonprofit. I run a forum by the name of the Friendly Counselor, and I have been running this forum since 2007. So I share mental health tips, relationship tips. I use that as a way to just share awareness of mental health and the day-to-day challenges that we go through. So every other year I go to Liberia and I do a workshop, a summit. I engage into a lot of different programs, whether it is feeding, it is training students, training teachers, training medical staff, community workers. Those are things that I have been committed to do, as well as partnering with other organizations to do that.
Awesome, awesome. Man, you got your hands full. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do every day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. So, on the subject of love and Valentine's Day or love and relationship, can you help us understand what is the meaning of love?
Yeah, so I will go right to it, and I will start with the APA, the American Psychological Definition of Love, and then I will add my own piece of it. So, according to the American Psychological Association, love evokes the following feelings. So, deep fondness, happiness when you are in the presence of the person that you love, commitment to that person's well-being, awareness of how pretty much your affection to that person, how it feels. Um, Love is a complex emotions, right? When we are in love with somebody, we can experience happiness, we can experience anxiety, we can experience fear, we can experience strong emotions, strong feelings, whether it's pleasure, sensation, right? Sensation in parts of your bodies that you may feel, um, but you are devoted to be willing to commit to whatever it takes for this person. So when it comes to love, there are many different types and it takes many different forms. We can have sisterly love. I can love you as a sister And all of these emotions and feelings that I'm explaining here, I can have the same thing, right? I'm committed to that sister bond between you and I. Um, I can have that parental love with my children, right? Where I provide for them, and the Bible talks about that agape love, okay? That unconditional love where parents have, regardless of what happens, I love you regardless. There are no modifiers, there are no conditions to my love. That agape love that Christ has for us, that we have. And then we have romantic love. That is the love that we share with people that we have romantic relationship with. So love again comes in all of those forms and all of those areas, as a share. So sexual, you can have that platonic woman and man friendship, right? Parental, and like I said, partner and relationship.
Awesome, awesome. As you were talking about the different relationship and love, I started thinking about, you know, love between you and coworkers. We spend
Yeah,
our day with at work.
yeah.
So, what can you tell us more about that kind of love?
Well, that's the platonic
It's in platonic.
relationship.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So that was.
I'm assuming that will hold true for love between you and your pastor or people
Hmm.
in the church.
It's just an individual that you have found feelings for,
Okay,
right? So that individual happened to be somebody where does they do not fit in the category of a romantic relationship, and they don't
awesome.
fit in the category of a parental relationship, right? So or partner relationship. So therefore, it is just a friendship, a friendship, so to speak, that you share with this person.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. So let's talk about, I've heard a lot about the different love languages, but for
Mm.
people who don't know about the love language, or the different love languages, can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. So Dr. Gary Chapman, he coined the five love languages. And initially, this was a thing that he brought to couples, right? How do you communicate love? How do you express love? How do you want to be loved, right? So this is what the five love languages talks about. We all have something that speaks to us, that fills up our emotional love tank. So imagine you driving on E, and you're hoping that I'm going to get to my house on E. Well, you are in a state of panic constantly because at any given time, that gauge can go down to E and you will break down. So, same thing with love. We are in relationships, and most of the time, we are on E. So,
Right. Right.
how do we fill up that tank to bring us to the place where I feel fulfilled? I feel contented in my relationship. So he says that there are five ways we can feel this. And it doesn't have to be one of each. You can feel all five. You can have all five, or you can have one that is dominant where it sticks out. So physical touch. Physical touch, somebody who cultivate when it comes to physical touch, this person wants to be held, they want to be kissed, they want to be hugged. Maybe this is how they gave love, maybe this is how they receive love, but physical touch, it means a lot to them when you come and you basically give them that hug, that kiss on the cheek, that kiss on the forehead. You tell them, I love you. If that is their love language, their emotional love tank is filled up because of that. There are people who like words of affirmation, right? So they want those affirmations, they want those compliments. Hey, your hair look beautiful today. I love that blouse on you. That's your color. I just love the way your skin glow, right? Thank you so much for what you did for me yesterday. You cooked food, and that really means a lot. So many times, what do we do for these type of folks? We want to always send unexpected notes, cards, texts. It means a lot. Hey, good morning. I'm thinking about you today. If that person love language is affirmation, you have spoken to their heart, right? So now we have to remember now that the way that we communicate and receive, we have to understand everybody does not communicate and receive that way.
Mhm.
So somebody who love affirmations, birthdays, and those things, recognizing, appreciating them means a lot. So you want to be mindful and intentional about doing these things, right? Because we want to keep that love tank filled up. And so receiving gifts, what are those things that make them happy? It doesn't have to be an expensive gift, right? It's the thoughtfulness that matters. So make your spouse, your partner, your priority every now and then. Bring them something, right? Something tangible, to let them know, hey, I was thinking about you. Give them thoughtful gifts, thoughtful gestures, expressing gratitude when it comes to giving gifts, right? What do you not want to do? If this is their love language, I'm not buying you any gift because you always get gifts and I don't get gifts. I don't get what I like. And after a while, they learn that this person doesn't love me. So they're not speaking my love language. And so we have quality time, right? So quality time, these people want uninterrupted one-on-one meeting with you. I don't want to be on my phone while we are talking. If we are together with quality time, I want it to be just me and you, right? If we are laying in the bed watching a movie, that's what we're doing, laying in the bed watching a movie. Why I am watching that movie, I shouldn't be on the phone talking to my girlfriend about everything else that's happening. Girlfriend needs to know quality time for me and my family. I'm not going to be available at 7 o'clock today, right? And so receiving love that way, what I wanted to be, I wanted to be distraction free. And then with all of these things, I wanted to be consistent as well. And then lastly, we have what we call acts of service. Acts of service are those things that we do, such as doing the chores around the house. Okay. Maybe I do my own laundry, but you went out of your way to do my laundry for me. You do that every week. I drive my own car, I gas up my own car, but you go out of your way to gas up my car for me, right? Those are acts of service. You vacuum the house, you're doing these things because it means a lot to me. And I receive love and I express love through that way. So, like I said, we can all know our love languages. There is a free quiz online that Gary Chapman have. You can go to love languages, the 5 love languages, and you can take a quiz. You and your partner can take a quiz and see what you score. More than likely, if you guys are very similar, you will find that you will have probably the first two matching, or you will have a few that you will match with. So don't worry, don't panic if you find
And
yourself in all of it.
before the show ends, we'll drop the link in the show notes so
Yeah.
somebody can take that quiz. But as you were talking about it, my mind started to go in different direction. I was just like, you know what? I think I got most of them. Most of them are my love
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, um, on still on the love language, how can you tell, other than the quiz, can you tell which one is your love language or one of them are your love languages?
Yeah. So what stands out to you? What makes you feel full? What matters to you? What makes you feel love? What makes you feel warm? What makes you feel like this person gets me? Right? So if you come home and uh you got roses, maybe every Friday you got roses. So maybe somewhere in the conversation you share that, hey, I love roses, and your partner picked it up. And so your partner is now being intentional about bringing you these roses. They are going out of the way to make you, to express that you matter to me and I know what matters to you. And I want to show you that I love you, right? And so, how would you feel if that person did that for you? You probably get that warm, fuzzy feeling,
Mhm.
right? You get that, oh, I just love it when they do this. This person care for me so much. I'm so blessed. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel content. So you know, if it is worse that people say to you that makes you feel good, right? Some people, I don't care for the gifts. Okay. I just want you to tell me you appreciate me. All right. And then there are other people that I just want to cuddle. It
Mhm.
means a lot when you cuddle with me. It means a lot when you stay home with me, when we eat dinner together as a family, when we go out places together, we go on vacations, we go on trips, just us. That matters to me. That makes me feel love. That makes me feel connected. Because remember, love is about a connection. How do
Mhm.
I feel connected to you? If I feel connected to you, I feel secure, I feel safe, I feel valued, I feel like I matter. All of these things because of our exchange, our communication of love, the way that we express it. Now, on the flip side of it, you can have that negative expression, and the danger in being consistent is that if you are not consistent, what I have learned is when I do something, if you and I fuss and you withhold that from me, you're not consistent with it. So what I learned is that this thing is not stable. I can
Right.
get it today, tomorrow I cannot get it. So that means that I'm not expecting it, right? There are 5 love languages for children too. And many times I counsel my parents when our children do something, we want to punish them. That's fine. Punish them, but don't punish them when it comes to love, right? I'm not going to give you a hug because you did such and such to me. And
Mhm.
if that is the love language, and every time they come to give you a hug, you're like, I'm not hugging you. I'm still mad at you. Because as adults, we can hold those
Mhm.
grudges, right?
Right.
So they come and you just push them away. Now, what they have learned is love is inconsistent.
Mhm.
From
Mhm.
very early on, you have told them that love is inconsistent. So, and then love is rewarded, good or bad, right? So I
Right.
must be good to receive this love that I want. So if I want these hugs, if I want these affirmations, I must be good to receive it. And that's toxic.
Right. Right. And then they start looking for love in all the wrong places because they're not getting it
Or
from the parents, and that's really a bad thing. Oh, we had a connection problem. All right, there you are. You're back. The devil doesn't like to hear about love.
I know.
He took you out, but you think all you're back. Well, this is a good
Yeah.
discussion. I will be the first to say that talking about love language, my two love languages are one is the affirmation. Just I love writing, I love posters, I love cards. So it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be my birthday, it doesn't have to be holiday, but just getting the random cards or notes or text is very important. Nothing will have to do with low self-esteem or low self-worth,
Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
love language. Yeah, certainly.
Mhm.
And then the quiet time, when it's that time, quiet time, no, we're not doing no cell phone thing, we're not we're
Yeah.
not checking emails or with my man, my boy thing. It's just that uninterrupted time. So those are
Yeah.
my two. So what are your two love, what not two, but what are your love languages?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Quality time is my love language, definitely. I love quality time. And I think I always get a split between affirmation and physical touch. I'm a very touchy person. So if I am close to you, my family have a nickname for me. They call me the little cat. Like literally, I'm on you. Like you're gonna tell me, Quita, get off of me, you know. But that's I will lay on you, I will hang on you. So I love physical touch. That's my love language. And it's funny that you asked because as we are talking about the love languages, one of the things that we have to remember is that we always tend to express love the way that we want to receive it, right?
Hmm.
So because I like quality time, it means that I always want to spend quality time with people, right? Um, and when I met my husband in the beginning, he was not big on quality time. All right. So he came from a family where he was the only child for a very long time, and then his mom had another son. So you know that whole dynamic there with an only child syndrome and all.
Right, right.
So, but for me, I came from a big family where we are all very close knitted. And so we always spent time and did everything together. So that's all I know, like quality together time. So you had to learn that this is your wife's love language. You must learn it. And I had to learn his love language too, which his love language is acts of service, which most men would tell you that is their love language. But I'm telling you, this thing has changed. Now he is physical touch and he's quality time even more than me. And I don't understand it.
So that's good. Creature of habits, right?
Yeah.
But speaking about learning your partner's love language, how can you learn your partner's love language? Most of the time, we want the language, but we don't want to learn other people's love
Yeah.
language. So how can we learn that?
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to study the person,
Right,
right? If I need to observe you to know what are those things that gave you those feelings we talk about? What
right,
are those things that gave you those found feelings? So if I'm paying and if I am committed to that relationship with you, even in a friendship, I need to know my friend's love language
right.
because I don't want to be giving her gifts and she don't care for gift. I have missed the mark,
Hmm.
right?
Right,
If I am a friend who is very much into affirmations and quality time, that means that I respect that. And if
right,
you are doing other things that is not my love language, it's nice, it's okay, I appreciate it. But again, it does not fold that love tank. So I'm lacking there. And, that relationship is not going to be as close as we want it to be. There will be some pulling back because I still feel that you don't know me.
right,
So, in a relationship with your partner, the same is true. You must learn to observe what speaks to them. Um, Definitely if you continue to come into a relationship as what I want, this person has to love me, right? Um, you're just gonna get that. They're
hmm,
gonna love you, but are you loving them? And
right,
then
right,
we call that selfish kind of love,
right, right,
right? It should not be one way. And after a while, they get burned out, they get drained, and then they pull back, they get detached because what they feel is it's only me giving, giving, and giving, and this person does not receive it's not going back, it's not going back and forth. And
right,
love is
right,
an exchange. It's an
right, right,
exchange. Yeah.
right. Wow, this is good. This is good. So, still talking about the love. Um, how can love help our mental health? I mean, you kind of touch on it, or just our entire wellness, our brain, our just a whole body health. Can you give us some ways that can improve? I know you kind of touched
Yeah.
on it a little bit.
So when we talk about love, it's more than just this emotional exchange that we're talking about. There are psychological components that are connected. Something happens in your body. And we would talk about those chemicals that are responsible for that. So when we are in love with somebody, it releases high levels of chemicals, and one of which It's called the love chemical. It's the oxytocin. Oxytocin. Let me say it right. Ox, oxytocin. I'm not oxytocin. I think it is. I'm not saying it right. But then there is
Okay.
also dopamine, right?
I heard
Um,
about those.
so dopamine, if you think about the feel good hormones, and
Hmm.
dopamine too is a neurotransmitter, um, similar to the euphoric feeling people get when they use cocaine, drugs, all of those things, they get that.
Hmm.
And that feel good, high feeling that you see addicts go for constantly. The brain releases that same hormone neurotransmitter when you are in love. Isn't it ironic that the brain is able to do that? So, what happened? Your heart starts racing. I know it's funny. We see it on movies all the time, especially if you watch cartoons. You see these cartoons, heart coming out of the chest like that. When you feel love, and your heart start beat fast, fast, fast. If you ever remember when you first fell in love, and that
Oh
boy or
yeah.
that girl was coming, and oh, my heart beating so fast. Oh,
Yeah, GPT.
yes, I'm getting nervous, and then
I'm
I'm
nervous, sweaty.
sweaty. Oh, my hair's sweaty, right? And then sometimes you feel that anxiety where you're nervous, you're afraid, you're confused, but then you also feel passion. All
Right,
of
right,
these multifaceted emotions that are happening. And that is the responsibility of the neurotransmitters that are released in our body. So, dopamine is really responsible for that pleasurable experience, right? And then again, when it comes to sex, um, it's released. Those same neurotransmitters are released during sex. And those are the neurotransmitters that are responsible for making couples feel closer together. So, many times I hear people talk about casual sex. And I say to them, there is no such thing as casual sex because not only is it an emotional exchange, but it's a chemical exchange. When you enter
mhm,
somebody, there are neurotransmitters released between the two of you.
right, right.
And this is why when you are with somebody and you share that special space with that person and you fall in love with that person, it is just so hard to walk away and mentally cut it off. You are so much connected because of those neurotransmitters, um, that have been released in both of you body, and it have connected you together. So when we talk about love and the brain, that is the psychological aspect of it, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
so it's deeper again than I'm infatuated. I see you, and you know, um, love you, and there is this infatuation where you feel attached to this person, and it comes so quickly in the beginning. It's intense. um like I said, am I on? I think
Yes,
so.
yes. We getting some glitches there, but you are on.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I think there's a lot of glitches happening on my end here too, but we'll
Mm.
make it work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
Super
can hear
Bowl
you.
Sunday.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
So infatuation again is it comes quickly, is that feeling that comes quickly, and it is very intense. That boy, girl, that young love. And I actually, let me not say young love because adults can feel that too, right? Older
Hmm.
couples can feel that too. Love is not limited to age now. So we have to be careful, right? So but you that comes at the beginning of a love experience. It can be positive or it can be negative. And when it comes with the negative feeling, you can have the nervousness, the anxiety. But when it comes with the positive feelings, you can have the euphoria. Those same feelings that you receive when dopamine is being released. And then we have something we call emotional attachment. So emotional attachment, which is that comforting feeling of bondingness that develops gradually. Remember, the key word now is gradually. So what
Mhm.
happens now? You have learned to be comfortable with this person. And so what happens is you feel calm, you feel comfortable, you feel happy, you feel secure. This happens in secure relationships. And one thing I want to add too is that the way that we attach, the way that we learn to love has a lot to do with our attachment styles, right?
Mhm.
So if you grew up in a secured attachment with your parent, that mean when you left your parents, yeah, you cried, but you knew your parents were coming home, right? Versus
Right.
that detached attachment where mom never show you love, mom never show you affection, mom never show you any care, so that's how you now go into your love relationship where you have that same thing. So but this emotional healthy attachment is where we all want to be. And if you came from a secured attachment style, it will be easy for you to exhibit that. And the good news is that even if you did not, you can learn to cultivate that. You can't say, because my mom and dad didn't show me love, because my parents did not show me affection, so I don't know how to show affection. And that's your excuse, and that's it. Let's learn how to cultivate that secure attachment so that we too can learn to have that calmness, that security, and that emotional attachment.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. Love is a beautiful thing. Love it. So let's talk about love and culture.
Hmm.
Um, does culture impact the way we love, express love, receive love, give love, or what was it? Just the overall exchange of love.
Yeah. So love is a universal language, it's a universal emotion. No matter what part of the world you go, right? You will see how people show love. So, with that being said, if it is universal, that means that it can be culturally specific, right? So,
Mhm.
in certain cultures, it is not acceptable for romantic partners to hold hands and kiss in the public. Culturally, their
Right.
traditions speaks against that. They are
Mhm.
groomed to know that we don't show outwardly expressions of love. So if a
Mhm.
husband and a wife marry, your husband and wife marry, and even in the Liberian culture, we're not
Right.
coming to be kissing all over you the way we can be kissing our parent, our spouses here.
Right.
Back then, yeah, they would look at you. What kind of friskiness is that? I'm telling you.
True,
So
true.
yes, even like at some point, I'm my parents. Thank God they are not those type of parents. So we were free because we saw them show love and affection. Um, but sometimes when we are around other older Liberian couples, and me and my husband, I may sit on his lap or he may kiss me or whatever, and they look at all and tell, you'll keep that thing for your bedroom. You don't do it yet.
What a more proof here? What is the more proof here to people?
You don't do it yet, oh, and you don't do that thing yet. I remember I went to this family event, and I we were there, hugging up, kissing up, and this man just told me, he said, in this family here, the women don't do that. The women here, that's not what they do. The women, and I said to him, this woman does it.
Right, right. Get
Right?
used to it.
Get used to it. So culture really does influence how people think, right? How they think about love, how they display romantic love. Again, those cultural values really are transferred from generation to generation to generation. And it is the norm, what we call the culture norm within the cultures of how we express love and how we show love. So many times within, again, I keep stressing our African culture, Liberian culture, because I think this is a big issue. A
Right.
lot of our men did not grow up in homes where they saw dad show mom love.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring that into the family of or from the family of origin into now their nuclear family. So your wife is in the house and you love her, but she doesn't feel love. You're not doing any of those five love languages. And when she complain, you tell her you should be happy because at least I hear I paying the bill, I working, I buying food for you, I come home every day. You should be happy that I'm here. I'm not out there like some of
Right.
your friends' husband and beating on you,
All
you
right.
know. And so then you are there thinking like, okay, so I should just take it and be quiet,
Right.
but I'm not full, right? So again, I'm unhappy in my relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
people get bored and sometimes they step out of their marriages or their relationships because if this woman is somebody who is lacking in so many other areas, such as self esteem and some other things. And here is she at church with a man who is telling her, "You're so beautiful. Oh, you're so smart. I see you work hard. You're doing all of these things. Wow, your husband is really lucky, man. Your husband don't
Mm-hmm.
know how good he got it." And before you know it, he starts getting her little gifts and
Right.
she starts feeling love.
Right. Right.
And the rest is history. We see so many relationships broken, so many homes broken. And it's not because a lot of them are like, I'm going to cheat on this person today and
Mm-hmm.
break this marriage. Some of them did it because they knew what they were doing, they were very much aware. But some of them did it because they didn't feel valued, they didn't feel full at home. And that is for both women and men.
Right, 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 right. I'm glad you said for both women and men, so people don't think, oh, these two women here, they're just talking for themselves, they ain't talking for
No,
us,
yes.
so both ways, because I've seen even both ways where sometimes we, our gender,
Hmm.
force the person to be out there because we're not, like you said, filling out their love tank, so they have to go there and find it in all the wrong places. We shouldn't be.
Hmm.
So I'm glad you kind of spoke to both both men and women. But as you were talking, about love, I started to think, what? Can love be abusive?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Toxic love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you grew up in a family again where you express love by hitting on a woman,
Right,
there
right,
are people that think it is.
right, right,
So
right,
we go back to what I said about children and parents when it comes to love languages, right?
right,
So
right,
in an abusive relationship is that circle of control.
right,
And
right.
within that power and control, one person is here and the other person is down. So
Mm-hmm.
I see you as a property.
Right, right.
So what happens if this person who is not my equal, because that's the perpetrator's mindset, me and you are
Mm-hmm.
not on the same level.
Right,
So
right,
that means that if you do something to me, yes, I will beat you and tell you I love you. And it's because I love you, I am doing this to you. So you're now treating me like your child now.
right,
If I didn't love you, I won't punish you. I'm punishing you because I want you to do the right thing. So yes, so these relationships can be I'm taking the credit card from you, which is financial abuse,
right, right,
right? I will beat you to
right,
let you know that I'm the one in charge. You listen to me. I will isolate you from your friends, from your family. You can't talk to those people because I said so, right? You can't go
right.
around those people. So
Power
that
and
is just
control.
that power and control exchange.
Mhm.
But it's not love.
Right, right, right.
It's toxic love because
Toxic love. It's not the love that the Bible talk about. What the First Corinthians 13, right?
that's right. It is
Yeah,
not that love that
not
we
the love.
want. So
Yeah,
if we see that love, then we need to address it. This is not what love looks like. Love is kind, love is patient, love is long suffering, right? Love
right,
does not
right,
boast. So
right,
love does not hurt. If I'm hurting from this love, don't ever let somebody tell you love is supposed to hurt.
Right. Right.
If
Never
love
heard.
is defined as this fondness, good feeling of happiness, contentment, this feeling that you belong, that you value, that you feel secure, if
Right.
that is the definition of love, then anything else outside of that context is not love.
That's so awesome. I love what I'm hearing. Thank you, Krita, for sharing. You're such a wealth of knowledge. But as you were I usually don't put personal stories in here, but as you were sharing, it just led me to share one thing about love not being abusive, and culture, how culture can impact love. So three things I will point out on that. One, as you were talking about culture and how people grew up. Obviously, there's no telling. I tell the story so many times. I came from a very abusive marriage, first marriage, not a marriage second time, but just the marriage.
Yeah.
But there was one
Sorry to
thing
hear.
that my ex-husband always used to say. He One thing he said was, um I beat you, nothing will come from other end. My pa beat my mom for many years, and she has
Mm.
7 children for him.
Oh, wow.
So that was love. That was nothing, because
Hmm.
his papi, his mom, and his
That's
mom stayed
right.
there and kept on born children. So
That's
why am
right.
I complaining? Who am I to complain?
Exactly.
And then on top of that, when he used to be, that was way back in Liberia, I would go to family house for refuge.
Hmm.
Family would take you back home, the culture, take you back home. And then I had one uncle, and I love him to death. And he always would say, "Where you going with those children and you second hand? Who will want
Hmm.
you? You better stay with that man." They
Hmm.
didn't understand. Like,
Hmm.
this is not love. But to
Exactly.
love,
Exactly.
because he was providing. Oh, he taking care of the children. So that was love. So I just wanted to
Mhm.
share that,
Thank
as you
you.
were talking
Thank
about
you
love
for
not being
sharing.
abused. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. But you're so right because it talks about how we, that those behaviors that influence how we express love and show love, and like I stated earlier, it is transferred from generation to generation, so we call that generational curses,
Mm-hmm.
generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere down the line that circle has not been broken,
Right.
right? And it continues, which is impactful and harmful. However, in their concept, their conceptualization of what love is, this is what it looked like. And anything else outside of it is not love. Yeah,
Right. Sadly. But
exactly.
but let's talk about love and relationship. I know we're gonna touch on it, but I wanted you to help us, just to touch on some of the challenges in relationship. I know you're gonna talk about abuse, but other challenges, if you want to touch on those.
Yeah, so when we look at unhealthy relationships, and it's so important before we enter a relationship, it's always good to ask yourself, what is the goal of this relationship? This relationship that I'm entering, what is the goal? Do I see myself getting married to this person, or I'm just coming into this relationship to see what happens, and if it goes to marriage, it goes to marriage. But what is the end goal for me here? I think that within itself really helps shape how long you will stay, what you will accept, and then what are your boundaries. If you start off in a relationship with somebody who is abusing you, who is beating on you, who curses you, who's cheating on you, and you say, well, it's just the beginning, and they're telling you, I'm going to change, and this is this person pattern of behavior, because this behavior is constant, it's happening quite often. That's a red flag, right?
Right.
So, talk about red flags in relationships. How do they talk to you? Are they harsh? Are they defensive? Are they disrespectful to you? Do they belittle you in front of your friends, in front of your family, right? You don't have a voice in that relationship. Those are all red flags in a relationship. Are they controlling? We hear these words tossed out a like gaslighting you. And
Hmm.
let me tell you, many friendships, not only relationships
Right.
as
Right. Right.
romantic, there are
Yeah.
many friends that will gaslight you. I
Right.
mean, I literally came out of a relationship with a friend where I had to think twice to myself, like, This person is gaslighting me and they don't even understand that they're gaslighting me,
Right.
right? And then when you talk to them about it and make it seem like, no, that's not what's happening and blah, blah, blah. And so the apology comes, I'm sorry, but the behavior does not change, right? So understanding
Mhm.
that these things are red flags from the very beginning. If a relationship start off rocky and you feel like it is going to end up rocky and you see that this person can change, I advise that you seek counseling to get the help that you need. If a relationship starts off rocky and it is not going anywhere and it is not changing, there is no need to commit because you cannot change a person. Women, we love a project. We want to start and we want to change this bad boy, right? Oh, all I gotta do is to
Right.
love him.
Right.
Maybe he wasn't loved properly. Maybe I'm the woman, and they will tell you too because they play games. Both women and men
Mhm.
play games,
Right.
right? Somebody who they're very much defensive in everything. They don't take accountability for their behaviors. They don't take responsibilities for what they do. Again, we talked about alienating you. We talk about abuse, but let's talk about sexual abuse. Another thing that we need to understand is these sex drives, right? Um, am I matching your sex drive? Okay, you are a very high sex drive person and I feel that I can match that. But at the same time, I am comfortable with telling you it's okay if you want, please yourself, go look at pornography. Now, here is the thing, the problem with pornography. They have learned and they have conditioned to release and pleasure with somebody who is not real. Okay? So the brain is conditioned to either fall in love with parts of the body. Maybe
Mhm.
it's their titty, maybe it's their butt, maybe it's their lips, but they see that and they're conditioned. And then you expect them to now come and to perform this with a real person.
Right.
That's a problem.
Right.
That
Right.
is the problem. So I hear people say, oh, me and my spouse, me and my husband watch porn, it helped him to stand up. Okay. If it helps him to stand up, that's a temporary relief.
Right.
Please,
Right.
there are so many natural herbs out there. He doesn't even have to take a pill. He can just change his diet,
Right. Eat healthy.
eat
Right.
healthy, exercise,
Exercise.
right? Cut out the alcohol, cut out the smoking. There are
Right.
things that
Right.
he can do to help him to stand up. So
Right.
don't give an excuse and don't bring added problem into your relationship because you feel as if I cannot meet up with this sex drive. Have this conversation. Hey, listen, honey, your sex drive is high, right? And again, I will specify women and men because there are women that have very high sex drive and the
Right.
husbands cannot keep up. And there are men that have very high sex drives, and their partners, their wives, girlfriends cannot keep up.
Right.
So this is where you need to be having the conversation,
I was
right? Let's talk about
around
things that we can do to meet each other sexually. Maybe you were molested, and because you were molested, you don't feel comfortable being vulnerable with your partner. Let's talk
right.
about that. Let's have those conversations where we don't leave any assumption in our relationship because then again that behavior of abuse toxic love like we say it is an excuse to do that because we have left those doors open for assumptions.
All right, right, right. I liked the way you went into the segue of love and sex because I was going there to find out to talk about enhancers. I know culturally that's something we don't like to talk about, but good and bad enhancers to the relationship and how you can go about it. We already talked about the pornography. It seems as though it's a bad enhancer to the relationship. So let's talk about more bad enhancers and let's talk about good enhancers to a healthy relationship.
Yeah, a bad enhancer bringing somebody into your relationship. Now,
Oh,
why would you want that, right? I mean,
right,
that's just a number one all around bad enhancer. But I people will do it. Everybody, well, I'm busy and I can't give him the sex that he wants. So I'm fine with him doing his listing over there as long as I'm the wife. He comes home to me again. Why set yourself up
right,
for a relationship?
right,
If you are in a relationship with this person, you are committed to this individual, right? If you feel that you cannot meet the needs, have a conversation. If this person love you enough, they will be open, they will be receptive to those things that you guys can do. Now, when it comes to enhancers, sex toys, right? People do a lot of sex toys into their relationship. Hey, if it works for you, I'm not opposed to sex toys in the bedroom. If it helps you and it helps spark up, your sex life, by all means, do it. Um, I know there's a big argument on religion and sex toy and all of that. People say it's demonic, and masturbation is another piece of it. But again, it goes back to, if you are with somebody and you guys are having conversations around how can we enhance our sex life with my body and your body. Listen,
right,
your body have what it takes. I talked about the psychological and the chemical exchange that's happening out there. I spoke about that dopamine exchange, that feel good hormone, right? That you get that ultimate pleasure from, that neurotransmitter that God intended. He didn't make no mistake.
right,
It is all there. How do you tap into that? Right? That is what we need to learn our bodies. You must be comfortable. You must be comfortable with this body that you have so that you can explore and enjoy your body. So, if I want to enjoy sex and I want to enjoy all aspects of it, I need to be comfortable taking my clothes off when the light is on
right.
so that when I see myself, I'm like, I look good. And you better come get this. I
Right,
won't be embarrassed, and I won't be, oh, put the sheets over me. Oh, I don't want you to see me like that. Oh, cut the light off. I don't want you to see me naked. Can we just do it with the light off? How are you supposed to enjoy sex?
right, right,
So
right.
I don't know if I touched on all of it. I don't know if there's
You
something specific.
did, you did. But there's one. So talking about enhancers, oral sex is it an enhancer
I
or not?
wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know if you were ready for it.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for anything. Bring everything on. Bring
Hey,
everything.
if oral sex is something that pleases you and your partner, by all means, do it. That is your relationship. What is going to spark your relationship, right? If oral sex is something that you guys enjoy, why are you afraid of it? Go down on me. Let's do 69. Come on, let's get this thing going, right? That is something that we want to enjoy. But then again, it always goes back to, are you comfortable with yourself?
Right, right.
I think for women, that is the bottom line. A man can stand up there and show you his penis and tell you suck this thing, and he don't care. But as a woman, she needs to be comfortable with a man going down there on her. That means if you're comfortable with the way you look, please shave it. Shave it. Use razor. Shave it nicely. If that's something you want to try, do whatever it is. If you are saying, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to suck your thing, I think it's nasty. I'm a woman of God. Well, maybe he got somebody outside that will suck it for him. And that's where he's going.
True, 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 true. Love language, right?
There you go. Right? We're keeping it real here. We are grown people. So
Right, right, right. This is good. I love it. Valentine's Day is this week. Obviously, we both know that. Most people know. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this show to create
mhm,
awareness to how to love and how
yeah.
to love better, how to understand love.
Hmm.
So Peter, I thank you for doing this. But let's talk about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Um, should it be a 1 day celebration thing? To love be expressed all year round? Tell us more. You're the expert.
Love should be expressed every day. Every day, you should be intentional about cultivating moments of love in your relationship. In order for your relationship to thrive, in order for your relationship to grow, you must nourish your relationship. If you have no food and you are fasting, let's say you did a 21-day Daniel fast and you fast only on water, you fasted only on water. Okay. After your 21-day fasting of water and nuts and fruits and vegetables, your body will want to crave something else, or a 40-day fast. But even at the end of your fast, you will break the fast with something of substance, right? Some type of heavy food. You, as individuals, our body crave. We have to remember now that Maslow, my words are not coming right
It's
today.
okay. Maslow hierarchy.
I must be hungry. If we go to that Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? The very
Okay.
first basic needs, the food, the shelter, the water. Right above that is that love, that security, that affection. That's a reason why it's that second order,
Right.
right? And then you
Right.
have that belongingness. That's a need for us to feel love. So if I am going out here every single day, not feeling love, not receiving love, not giving love, I am starving myself. That's like you are starving yourself and you are in this relationship. So, what do we need to do to fix it? What do I need to do to fix it? Are we committed to fixing it? Some people throw in the towel and say, I don't care. So why are we here? Why are we here? So let's be intentional. Let's plan those date nights. Let's plan those trips. During the day, let's text. Let's send little love messages, little text. Women, and I'm talking to relationships, doesn't have to be married.
Right. Right.
Send those messages. Hey, I've been thinking about you all day. How is it going? I can't wait for you to get home. Guess what I'm wearing? Guess what I made? Get some sexy lingerie. Don't just do it on Valentine's Day,
Right.
right? Don't just go to Victoria's Secret. Try Fredericks of Hollywood. They got some beautiful freaking outfits there that you can, when that before your partner, your husband comes home, draw a bath water. Get some candles, light it up. Invite them. Let's take a bath together, right? These are things that you do that's intentional. If you are afraid to be naked with this person, if
Right.
I can, when I take a bath with you, that is one of the most vulnerable places and state that we can be in. You got to be comfortable with this person. Do regular baths weekly. Do your regular dates, right? Don't ever stop flirting with one another. Don't ever stop putting time into nurturing your relationship. If you have a plant in your house and you don't water that plant, it die a natural death.
Exactly.
If you have a relationship, if you have a friendship and you don't water it, it will die a natural death. And then the thing about human beings, because our mind, we switch it off and on,
Right.
then I have to be motivated to want to switch it back on. So,
Right.
what is in it for me? Because that's what I'm thinking now. I tried
Right.
it before, and guess what? That woman don't want to do this, and that man don't want to do this. So,
Mhm.
we just here because of the children, and then the children grow up and they leave, and you are roommates
Right.
sharing the
Right.
same space.
Right.
So
Right.
cultivate daily, weekly, whatever it takes. Plan those vacations. Celebrate your moments. Celebrate your anniversary. Celebrate your special dates. Take your trips together. I'm not saying don't go out with the girlfriends, but be very intentional about going out with your mate.
Awesome, awesome. As you were talking, I started to think about, those people that been in a relationship, I'm just saying 10, 20, 30 years, and the light is totally off in the relationship. What can they do to rekindle the light in the relationship, to bring that fire back again?
What brought the fire on in the beginning?
They think they lost it.
What was that thing,
Oh,
right?
love. Oh, definitely love.
Yeah, so one of the activities that I do with couples is I always encourage them, if you can, go where you started.
Yeah, that's a
Where
good
was
one.
your first date, right? If you are in Liberia, where did you first meet? In high school. Let's recreate the moment, okay? And I mean, just the fact that they're recreating the moment, it is so exciting.
Right, right.
Okay. So let's recreate the moment. So let's go back to, maybe we cannot do the very first date. Maybe our first date was a restaurant, and believe it or not, one of my husband's favorite restaurant was the first place he took me to eat, and up to today we still go there.
Wow.
He make it his business to take me there. So, and every time we go, he tell this story, and I'm like, but it means so much to him. So
Right,
that
right.
has been a tradition that we keep. So, what are those things that, again, and maybe for you, you may want to seek a professional like myself because you have lost direction, you have lost guidance. So you may want to speak to a counselor, a therapist who can help guide you. If the issue is with sex, there are sex therapists out there that can help you, right? Explore. Yes, a regular therapist like myself will give you the basic when it
Mhm,
comes to that. And but then if we realize, okay, there is something more intense here, and I'm going to, refer you, recommend you to see a sex therapist as well as marital counseling, then that's something that you need to work on. But many ways that you can do it. I talked about the couples night, right? I the date nights. People underestimate the power of date nights. And it
mhm,
doesn't
mhm.
always have to be outside of your home.
Right.
You can do a very beautiful candlelight dinner at home. If you have the kids, let somebody babysit the kids. You can cook, both of you guys. Just the mere fact that you guys cook together is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Another thing that we underestimate is showering together. It is so powerful for couples. Now, all of these things will not happen if you guys are at odds with each other.
Exactly.
If you are fighting with one another, if you are not speaking to one another, if there is no trust in the relationship, if infidelity has entered your relationship, those are things that needs to be worked on. Those are things that must be addressed in order to have a healthy relationship. If not, you're just building on a shaky foundation that is going to break.
Right, right. As you're talking, I started to think again about love and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some deep, deep things that happen in the relationship and you just can't let go of. Say, oh, my husband cheated on me, my
Mm,
wife cheated on me. I still love her, but I can't move past this cheating thing, or he cheated on me. Um, how can we fix that? We
that
learn
is
in the Bible that love should keep no record of the wrong, right?
exactly.
So how can we
So
fix that?
that's something that you have to work on with yourself, right? Many times when we say I forgive a person, but I can't let go, then that comes to, what are you struggling with? What is it about this thing that you are struggling with? So let's start with working on you. Okay? Infidelity, it is not easy when somebody cheats on you. It breaks you. And even after you seek counseling, even after you seek help, you still struggle with those thoughts quite often. However, if you have committed to be with that person, then you have committed to let go. And it's a process. It does not happen overnight. And it goes back to having regular conversations with this person. Look, I am committing to be here. I am committing to make this work. But here is where I struggle. And here is how I'm struggling. I will
Awesome.
need help in this area, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I told you I forgive you, I do. But I'm struggling with my own letting go.
Right,
So
right.
again, this is where a professional might want to help you work on the intense motions that you may have from the cheating. And it's intense. We cannot downplay and say, oh, yeah, well, you should let go, just forgive the man or forgive the woman, because
For the
they
children's
cheated on
sake.
you. Exactly. And our people, yeah, our Liberian community, we are so quick to tell our women, especially, oh, forget about that thing, cheating happened to everybody.
Body.
You know how many times my own husband cheated on me and I stay here?
Right, right.
Right.
Our great
Yes.
grandmothers and mothers, they always
Yes.
used to say that, right? I feel that,
So,
I had one old man that said, I was just in a conversation, like a family gathering, and she said,
mhm,
you know how many times my husband cheated on me? You bet
mhm,
I had in Espa fucking that Latin
yeah,
and I'm naughty. You know what my husband did to me? He even born
yeah,
baby outside.
mhm.
Can you imagine? Imagine.
And you chose to
Yeah,
stay, and that's your choice, right? And
yeah,
so, again, repeating that intergenerational trauma
right.
and toxic behaviors, that we must break the circle, because it happened doesn't mean I want to be a recipient of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I don't want to be the recipient of abuse. I don't want to be the recipient of that because you chose to stay. I'm glad that you chose to stay. It worked for you, but it's not working for me. And I
Right,
shouldn't be
right,
shamed. I shouldn't
right,
be shamed because of that. I shouldn't be judged as a bad wife or a bad person because I decided not to stay in that. Now, I'm not saying that you should leave your spouse because of infidelity. I think it can be worked through.
right. Awesome. This is so helpful.
Yeah.
Good discussion, though. Very, very good discussion. But we can jot down. We're at the end of our time, but we can jot down the curtains. We're all talking about two other things. One, the issue of finance. That's a huge thing
Uh,
in relationship. My money, his money, her money. But yet instead the Bible said leave and cleave and become one flesh. What are your thoughts on joint money, my money, his money? There's one account for bills and everything else is mine, his, hers.
mhm. When you have a relationship, especially if you're married, there is no such thing as mine and yours. It's together. What the one flush is about, the cleafness is about. So now, if you know that in your marriage you are not, or you may not be uh, financially responsible, again, you guys have that conversation. You handle the finances, you handle the bills, right? Because you're better with money. So you handle those finances, and that's the understanding between the two of you. If we
Right,
decide to get a joint account, we decide how that money is spent in that account. That means that you don't use that account to go buy Louis Vuitton bag when your rent is due or your mortgage is due, or you use it to go to the casino to go gamble, and then you leave me dry out, and I have to find money to pay the mortgage, to pay the rent, because you are not responsible
uh-oh.
for stress
Uh-oh.
on the
Just lost
family.
my guess. We had a slight interruption there. So if you want to repeat, you got off for a minute. Are you there?
Okay, so
I,
you and I
I think you stopped to the place where you don't use the money to go gamble and then you got cut off.
don't use your family, your rent money, your mortgage money to go gamble. Don't use that money to go on trips or do things, buy clothes to impress people on social media that don't care about you at the end of the day, and you're putting your family in strain, right? Be responsible. So discuss who is responsible for your finances, it is
I think the devil don't want you.
you are married.
The devil doesn't want you to talk about finance because he knows that's the big thing in relationships.
Yeah,
Every time you start talking about it, then we get interruption.
we
But we'll
get
talk about it.
yeah. So yeah, just it's bottom line is just be responsible, right?
Right.
And like I said, if you guys decide on a joint account, then both of you should be making decisions on big purchases. Most of you should be making decisions on how the money is spent and when it should spend. If you decide to get your individual accounts where you have your money in there, but then you're coming together and responsible for those, like I said, big mortgages, then if that works for you, that's fine too, right? This is not a one size fit all kind of a thing.
Right.
You have to do what is best for your relationship. But also on the topic of finances, financial abuse is also a thing.
Mhm.
Uh, it is also a thing in your relationship. And sometimes in the relationships, people, again, that power and control, the man, most of the time, I'm sorry, guys, they may want to take that bank card from you. And because they feel like they can control you that way. That's a form of abuse. You
Right.
can't spend money when you get paid. Women like to do this too. Give me all your money. I will show you how much to spend it. Women,
Right.
that is abuse. That
Right.
man is working hard. You shouldn't have to give you his paycheck and then you giving him every single penny to spend. No, let's sit together. Let's talk about how much we can spend. Let's talk about what we spend on what budget. There are many budgeting apps out
Mhm.
there, programs out there. Learn to budget so that your money works for you. Yes, finances are one of the number one reasons why couples struggle in a relationship. Get that finance in order. Okay? Don't go on trips with your boys. Don't go drain your money. Don't go buy expensive cigars. Clubs all night long, staying out, and you're leaving your family dry. You're not responsible. If you need to get a job to work, don't sit home and leave one person the bills and putting that added stress on them when you both can work together to build your financial wealth as a couple.
Yeah, and definitely to us women too. Sometimes the men entrust us with the account because you're custodian or whatever it is, and we take that money and buy that $500 bag or that 2,000 bag,
Mhm.
knowing that mortgage is coming up,
That's
light
right.
bills coming up, but we're not being responsible. So both ways we have to be responsible.
Of course,
Um,
I agree.
yeah, yeah. So thank you for sharing, Quita. But let's talk about the cell phone and the social media accounts. You know, this
Yeah.
the cell phone is a no-go zone. Don't touch my phone. I will not touch
Yeah.
your phone. I got my code. You got your code. What's going on here with the whole
I
cell phone
there
thing in
shouldn't
relationships?
there shouldn't be nothing on your phone that should be hidden from your spouse. I'm sorry. My husband has my password to my phone. In fact,
All
because my
right.
kids like to play games on my phone, right? But he knows my password. He doesn't have any password on his phone. Literally, I can go on his phone at any time. He can go on my phone at any time. He has password to my phone. So there is nothing secret on this phone from that man. Social
Healthy
media accounts,
relationship.
yes, social media accounts, my social media are not locked. In fact, he goes on my social media and scoop all the time. He tells me he's not on Facebook, but he knows everything that happened on Facebook. So I'm like, you might as well just go on Facebook, right? So what is the goal here? Why am I hiding what I'm hiding?
Right, right,
Right? If I am flirting with somebody and emotional flirting is a thing, we can
right,
flirt through, there is emotional cheating,
right, right,
right? So I can be engaging in sexual relationship with somebody emotionally, taking and
right,
buying time. The internet is one of the number one places where cheating happens.
right, right,
People
right,
are in your inbox. Oh, you're a beautiful woman. Are you married?
right,
You know,
right,
I, when they come in my inbox and ask me that question, I'm happily married with 5 boys. And the minute they start by telling me, oh, but I can be your friend with your boys, I tell them, thank you. It was nice talking to you, and I block them because
Right,
I'm not opportunity. Plus, you're not going to give my husband a reason to think that I'm
right,
disrespecting him. I am his wife.
right, right. Certainly, got to stop it right in the tracks. Stop it
You
right
have
there.
to. And if a woman or a man is out there and encouraging it, then again, you are at fault.
Right.
So if you have your cell phone and there are things on your phone that you must hide, you need to reconsider. If this person is my mate, trust them. I have things to hide on my phone. That's a problem with me.
Oh dear. We come into the juicy part, and then the internet, whether the devil likes it or not, we will have this discussion. It is so good. And you know, the government like good things. But you know,
Yeah.
Quita, we have tons of questions. The people, the viewers love the conversation. I got tons of comments here. And I won't say tons. I'm
Okay.
exaggerating here, but let me pull out some questions for you to answer because I
Mhm.
few comments here, and I put the number for them to call. But let me answer. Uh, Let me put some comments here. Uh, Let me know. Can you see it?
Inspiring to hear her perspective. Thank you.
Okay. And somebody said, "Beautiful ladies." Thank you. Uh,
You.
and then somebody got a question here. It's a long one, I think. What happens to a woman who doesn't ever admit her wrong, even though you love her? How do you deal with such person? Okay, let me get
Mm,
the expert
great,
on.
great question. So she has an accountability issue, right? So if she's not admitting that she's wrong, then there's a with her. And you can continue to love her and understand that she does not take accountability for her behaviors and continue to let her know, hey, you, when you're wrong, it's okay to say I'm wrong. And I know it's hard for us to say I'm wrong, but guess what? When you admit
Mhm.
that you're wrong, it helps you to realize those things that you need to change so that you can become a better person. If I am not admitting I'm wrong, I'm lying to myself.
Right, right,
I'm not growing. I am stagnant, right?
right,
So, how can I be my authentic, true self? How can I be a true version of myself if I cannot admit that I am wrong?
right,
So, again, it has to be a relationship where this individual also is not always telling this person they're wrong, right? And
right.
maybe
Mm,
explain to them how they are wrong. And sometimes,
exactly.
again, the way that we talk to people, maybe sometimes we are offended by their tone or the way that they present, because everybody don't know how to present things to people, right? And sometimes people perspectives, their delivery, the way that they deliver messages to people is off,
Right, right,
and they may not know that it is off, or
right.
sometimes people are truly unaware
Mm-hmm.
that they are wrong. They think their perspective is always right. Again, this is
Right,
something that after you have struggled with for a while, I will encourage you to seek professional help, because an
right,
outside person who is a neutral party, who don't know you, who is trained to use techniques, interventions to tell such a person, hey, have you thought about seeing it this way? Right? Is there an alternative way that you can see or express this behavior or this thing to this person? So that will be my advice to that person. But don't stop loving them because of that.
yeah. So that was a good question. Somebody were asking for the number. The number's been up here, but I'll put it up again. 469 674 3668. If you'd like to contribute, whether it be a comment, whether to ask a question. We don't know everything. We just share ideas, but please feel free to call in. We'll open the line for probably about 5 minutes. If nobody call in, then we'll draw down the curtains We're about 90 minutes okay, but we're still doing good. So please call in if you have a question, comment, or if you don't feel comfortable calling in, just drop it in the chat. I'll highlight it on the screen. Quita will answer it on here. So, Quita, while we wait for a call, is there anything else you'd like to add to this discussion that we didn't touch on, or you just want to echo some of the things we talked about?
Yes, when it comes to love and this whole concept, healthy love, it is important for us to remember that love is a beautiful thing. You can enjoy healthy, loving, romantic relationships. It does not always have to appear to be problematic. And when we think about love, we always think about so much work you have to put in there to, you don't have to see it in such a negative way. If you have two individuals who are committed to learning one another, who are committed to nurturing that relationship,
We're
those,
getting a call. We're getting. I love when people call.
yeah,
Thanks for calling me about you. Sure. Go ahead and state your name and what you're calling reference to.
Hey, this is Abraham, Dula calling from the state of Alabama.
hi, Abraham.
Abraham, thanks for calling. You have a question or comment?
Yeah, it's just a follow-up question. I posted the question in the, but first and foremost, great show. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Terry, for the show. And the guests are beautiful. You guys are beautiful. This discussion is very great. And I admire the discussion tonight. I'm following the same time watching the Super Bowl, so that's great. Yeah. So, yeah, but I posted a question in the comment section, and she get a great answer, by the way. But I just want to do a follow up to the question. Um, I know you said that you keep loving the person, but if you keep loving this person and the person hasn't shown or demonstrated any level of accountability, and it just continues and continues and continues. So what happens? Because my thing is, right within that space period, as a man, you kind of get kind of fed up. If you were a female, were a woman, and you've been together for maybe for 10 years or 15 years or for so long, and you just endure the fact that you love her, but she still doesn't want to take accountability of being admitting to some of the wrongs that she does, and it kind of underpin the relationship, and so it goes on for years, and you don't want to cheat on her, but again, she doesn't take accountability. Well, guess what? There are women out there who you see, and you say, you know what? Hey, I got a person who doesn't take accountability, even though I love her. And then you start to look out there, which can create room for cheating or to go and start. So my question is, if that continues, what happens? Do you still love her, even though she doesn't take accountability at all? Do you still love her? At what point do you say it's a cutoff point? At what point you say, well, let me just cut it off and just find, an exit point, or find an exit, or just, go my way, or, because she doesn't take accountability. At what point do you see that's a cutoff point? That's the follow I want to make to that, to your answer you provided earlier.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Abraham. Yes, excellent question, and thank you for sharing that. And from what you're sharing, it seems like accountability means a lot to you. And so, in any relationship that you find yourself in, being accountable to somebody matters, and having that person being accountable, it matters as well. So it goes back to, what is the modifier for your relationship, right? I think when I talked about agape love, and I said there are no condition to agape love. So are you able to love this person to the point where this not taking accountability is a condition? So if you are saying, well, I can only love you on condition, and this condition is you must take responsibility for what you do, then you're saying to me that you're not at that point of agape love, right? And that's okay. If you are not there, that's perfectly fine.
All
You
right.
need to go back and reflect. You need to go back and reflect on the goal of why you are there. Okay. Why am I here? I love this person. Love is fine. Love is great, but is love enough to sustain this relationship? Because your love is now conditioned. And that condition says, if you cannot show me accountability, I cannot continue to love you. So, since you have brought this condition into it now, it is only fair to say, hey, if you don't meet these conditions, unfortunately, I cannot be here. And you have that right. You have that right. I think being honest goal of our relationship, what we want. But on the other flip side, if you are saying, look, I am only saying this because I want you to change, right? So I love you. I don't want to leave, but I really would like you to take accountability. How can we get help? Professional counselor like myself will sit and speak with both of you and say, hey, how can you show accountability to your partner? Because it means a lot to this person. This person loves you and they're saying to you, this thing is interrupting, it's interfering with your relationship. So you love this person, and are you willing to make the necessary changes that they have identified in the relationship? Nobody is perfect. We all come to our relationships with baggages. And maybe that individual baggage is the lack of accountability. And maybe your baggage may be issues with anger, right? So we don't know. I'm just putting things out there, but let's just say we all come to relationship with that. So then I'm saying, where are we coming to fix this together? And if you have tried and this person is not willing to seek help, then again, you need to take a step back and reflect on your goal for that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I yeah,
Go ahead. No, no, go ahead, Abraham.
yeah, and again, great answer. You come to the discussion with a very great deal of a knowledge of relationship and all that. So that's great answer. Great response. And
Thank you.
for the first time on this on ever I had, and the question that I asked, it has to do with my personal life. And for the first time, on Tel's show, for the first time, I've been able to, just talk about my personal experience with my ex-wife. That we were, together for like almost 20 years or so.
Mm,
But again, it was an issue of accountability, and when we had our issues, and I had to move out of the house where I was, moving the hotel for like 6 months, and I was in there, and had to find my own place and moving and all kinds of things. But then at the same time, because we got two kids, so I didn't want to, just didn't want to let it go. But I just want to, talk to her, can we get past it? Even though I know you have your flaws and I have my flaws, can we come to the table and find a common ground to see how we can be able to work this thing out? And I was the one trying to, beg and so forth, even though, yes, I was not, in the wrong of our things, even though I have some pitfalls, but yet I was willing to be able to and apologize. Hey, can we get past this? Can we do this and so forth? But all of the instances, the 6 months leading to a year or a year and a half that I was finally able to move to my place, I was still trying to talk to her and talk to her to say, let's get past this. I really come out, a lot of people involved in all the kinds of things from people who were close in our cycle to kind of talk about. There were not once a day where she took accountability for saying, "Hey, I know, yeah, you have your flaws, and I have my flaws. Let's get past this, and for the sake of the kids, and for the sake of our long relationship, and so forth." So that's the reason why I asked the question, because in the interim, people, both sides get their own support system and all those kinds of things, and it kind of feel into whatever we had going on at the time, and it just went south. So that's the reason why I asked the question, because accountability is key. But when you two both of you in a relationship, and one side is coming forth and saying, hey, can we work past this? Because there was not an issue where somebody said, oh, well, he was this demon in it or she was this demon in it or whatever the case was. We both have our flaws. But the fact of the matter is that it's, if you get to a point, say, you know what, can we just look at all the issues and see how we can be able to work towards it and work through it and be able to find, just for the sake of the kids and ourselves, even if we're not do together, but we can heal ourselves and go our separate ways, and whoever we meet in it into we meet along the way, that healing process can also spill out to that person as well. So they can have it, they can have the residues of whatever we, going out there, we now separate sojourn and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I asked the question. But great show, great feedback, and I love that. I hope kind of continue, and we can find time to be able to appear on a show as well, be able to make some input. Again, happy Valentine to the both for you. Happy pre-Valentine to the both for you and to your
Thank you,
respective
Amber.
families.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Amber. Before you go, thank you, but I also want to say thank you for sharing your personal story.
Yeah.
I know it took much out of you. Men are not the one mostly talking about their personal story. It's us women who let to, blab about our past hurt or relationship. So I want to thank you for sharing your
Thank
personal
you.
story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Yeah.
God bless, Mike. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Quita, before we, as before called, I was making a mental note here. I started thinking about, love and past hang-ups. We broken love, broken relationship, and sometimes, like Abraham was saying, but you get into this relationship and your heart get broken, and so that don't want to love again because I'm afraid to love, or I hate men, I hate women because of my past hurt. How do you move past
Mm.
that to love again? Because love is a beautiful thing if you're sharing it with the right person. So how do you move past that? How do you navigate the whole thing?
Yeah, so that's trauma, right? That
Right.
is that is trauma that is residual trauma from that past hurt, from that brokenness that you find. And sometimes there are people that don't deal with it and they stay trauma lasts a lifetime. We only learn how to manage those trauma responses, those emotions, those triggers, and all of those things. And I'm glad that Abraham was able to make that stand, that bold step that he took. And he said, look, accountability is big for me. And
Mhm.
this person is not willing to do this. And it's not working for me. Like I said, take a step back and reflect. So in an event where you have left that relationship, now the residual of what's remaining with you now is those past hurt, right? Whether it was physical abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse, whatever it was, you are now left with all of that. What do you do with it? Again, go back to seeking help to navigate, to get you to work through that hurt, that trauma. Many times those are big emotions
Right.
that we don't know how to deal. And then there is this concept, there is this notion of fear that is left with us, especially if you were with somebody who physically or emotionally abused you. You are left with those stories, those narratives that is left in your mindset. I'm not lovable, right? I can't be loved. Or maybe they have said to you, you're not pretty enough, you are not smart enough, so you are left with that, and then moving into your next relationship, you are afraid to be vulnerable with somebody else, because every time you step into that love pit, those messages that you receive from your previous relationship
Right.
follows you, and
Right.
so that impairs your ability to behold, which I tell people is unfair, um to enter into a relationship and you're still broken from your past. Don't bring that baggage to your new relationship. Deal with your
Exactly.
stuff. There is no
Right.
reason why in 2024 we shouldn't be going to therapy to fix out, to help us to work with these issues, right? Deal with you first, so that when the next person come, you will be able to love them, and they will be able to love you, and you will be able to receive that love and not be afraid that they are coming to hurt you because you were hurt by somebody else does not mean everybody coming after that person is going to hurt you. But trauma speaks to you. And when that trauma
Right.
speaks to you, that trauma tells your brain, hey, don't trust him, don't trust her. She's going to be just like that person. And the minute they start to do something that looks like or slightly looks like, all your brain interprets it. And trauma is a whole nother um, topic that, I can't do it justice right now,
Right.
talking about
Right.
past
Right.
hurt and the
Right.
trauma and the psychology of the trauma that happens with breakups and relationship trauma. I can't do it justice in this little piece because
Right.
trauma
Right.
leaves an imprint on the brain. And in fact, there are many research that shows pictures of how your brain shrinks from
Mm.
trauma,
Wow.
right? So this is something that is happening that they have studied over the years and show that yes, there's actual shrinkage that happens at the time of trauma, and they can go back and see those visual images of how trauma affects the brain. So that is PTSD that needs to be dealt with by a professional so that you can move on.
Right. Right. Well, Quita, like I said, you're such a wealth of knowledge, and you're talking about he passing up and the trauma and all of that, and dealing with those. It even applies not only to boyfriend or girlfriend or wife, but even in friendship.
Oh yeah,
Because I had a disagreement with somebody else, and Quita is trying to be friends with me or show me love, but I'm just like, your Facebook people, I want your friendship,
I'm
like,
telling you.
you know, you know,
I am
and
guilty of that. It's true. Sometimes we do that, and that means that my healing has to happen, right? And
right,
I am able to
right,
admit that, look, I came out of this really bad friendship, or I mean this really
right,
bad friendship. And yes, right now I need to silence everybody who is new out. I
right,
mean, I went through a situation where I am telling you, I vow not to and imagine I'm telling you this. I was just
mhm,
close in. I didn't want to make new friends because I was
right,
so traumatized by this friend.
yeah,
So I had to go through a circle of allowing myself to heal from that so that I everybody
mhm,
else that I met, they were acquaintances, right?
right,
And I
right.
kept them at a surface level because I had my own healing to do.
Of course, of
So
course.
I needed to heal so that I'm not bringing that into my friendship with you.
Mhm,
So, and then when I see certain things again now with some friends that I feel like, okay, that looks like that. And, that's something that I continue to work on within myself. I withdraw
mhm.
because
Of course.
it takes me right back to that place where I had to go 5 years to deal with that friend. And I mean, it was bad. So for me, when I start to see those behaviors in friends, I'm like, you know what? Mm, I'm putting you on a shelf
It's time
right
to pack
here.
it up.
There you go.
Right, right,
Right? Because I'm
right,
not willing to experience that place, that hurt that I did before. And not at this age. I'm not doing it.
right, right, right. We take all discernment too. But Quita, I think we caught quite a bit today, and I
We
want to thank you
did.
for sharing
Yeah.
your Sunday with me and the audience. I don't take that for granted, but I just wanted you to, if there anything else that we didn't touch on, you just want to touch on it, or opportunity to just wrap it up, give up closing comments, and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, again, thank you. My pleasure for being here. I know we did touch on broad spectrum of many different topics, and each of those topics are a show of its own. However, we come back to refocus it on love and how can we find meaningful relationship within our friendships, our romantic relationship, our parental relationship, learning our love languages. There is wealth of information out there. Again, how do you receive love? How do you communicate love? And maybe you didn't have a healthy attachment style. Maybe you didn't have a healthy shown of love in your family growing up. Maybe you didn't see your mom and dad showing love, or they never told you what love should look like. You take the responsibility now of changing that. Now you have that opportunity to rewrite that history. It does not have to continue down that path. You can enjoy healthy relationships. You can enjoy healthy romantic relationships, right? When you find yourself in in those relationships, it takes commitment. It takes work, and that work means that you must be committed. And so I want to say to all of you out there, there are healthy love. You can enjoy love. If you have been hurt by somebody before, don't be afraid. There is somebody else out there that will show you something different. If you were that person who hurt somebody because you were immature, you were healthy, you were not ready to love, I encourage you to learn all of those things that can help you be a better person to share love. And if you were that person who play games of love with people, understand that you are dealing with a psychological, emotional response here. Understand that when you go into lay with somebody, it is not just a good time. You're not just having casual sex. There are exchanges, chemical exchanges that are taking place within the body that is meant to connect the two of you together. And so I encourage all of our viewers tonight, this Valentine's week that is coming up, create a plan, right? Set up a date. It doesn't have to be expensive. You might want to cook home together. For those couples who are struggling to rekindle the love, let's try taking showers together. Let's try making love notes together. Let's start cooking together. Let's plan a trip together with our family and friends, just the two of you. Let's create those moments where we love one another. Let's start practicing saying, I love you, and mean it. It may sound foreign, it may sound strange. What is your partner's love language, right? Speak to the love language. Fill up that emotional love thing and continue to nurture your love. And you too will experience and enjoy healthy relationship like God wants us to enjoy it. He has given us all of the tools that we need, all of the tools intended to love. He has given you all of that. And so there is nothing lacking. I ask that you tap into that. I ask that you cultivate that. And I ask that you change the narrative of love, especially when it comes to Black love. I thank you for having me,
Uh,
and I thank all of you for joining us.
thank you, and thank want to say special thanks to our viewers for watching, spending some of your Sunday with us, and continue to follow us, like, share the show. More to come, and have a pleasant evening. Thank you, Quita. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you.